Open the hearing and move on to a description of the proposed levy. Give me 1 second. Okay. So here's a breakdown of this year's tax levy. Hopefully. Why is it? So this chart shows our rate setting EAV since 2011. The dark red line is what a normal trend line would look like. As you can see, there are years where we are above the trend line for an increase in our EAV, and then there are years where we are below it. Specifically, if you look at the difference between 2020 and 2021, we are almost even, which is not necessarily a good thing, as we'll talk about the next couple slides when it comes to how that equates to money for the district. So here's our total levy since 2011. You can see we fluctuated to go below and above that trend line. In 2011, we were just about 5.1 million. Now we've increased that to over 6.3 million. Most of that has been through a generous increase in, or excuse me, not a generous, a steady increase in our EAV on an annual basis. Good news, here's our tax rate. Starting in 2011, we were at 5.0495. Our proposed levy for this year is 4.7494. So the Board of Education over the last 10 years has done a nice job of decreasing the overall tax rate for our community. Questions? So this year's levy, 56 or 57% of the levy will go towards the education fund. The next largest fund being bond and interest, followed by our operation and maintenance fund or the building fund at just under 11%.
What is tort?
Tort is a fund we use for safety purposes. We pay lawyers' fees, legal fees, insurance costs out of that. Here's the levy by the numbers compared to last year. In the ed fund, we are up only $30,000. Building is up only $5,700. Transportation, $2,300. Working cash, we're projecting a $570 increase. If you remember, we flip-flop every year between IMRF and Social Security, so there's a wash there. Health, life, safety, again, we're up about $570. We're down in tort. We're projecting fewer insurance costs and legal costs, so we're reducing that levy by a few $1,000s. Special education is up minimally, and lease is up minimally as well, for a total increase of last year of only $36,000. In a normal year, that number is well over $100,000. As you know, we talked about last meeting, we do a balloon levy, which means we increase whatever projection we have by the maximum 5% in the event that our estimated EAV comes in higher. So the way it works is we ask the county to give us a certain amount of money based on our EAV, our equalized assessed value. If for whatever reason the assessor has not correctly estimated that value and there is more EAV out there than we think, unless we ask for it, we don't get it. So in this case, we do a balloon. We ask for them to give us an additional 5%. We do not envision getting this, but it's better to ask for it and not get it than not ask for it and be denied access to that money.
Most years, it's a percentage of that,
Correct.
a small percentage.
So
Between 0 and 5.
our estimated levy, this does not include our bond and interest, which we don't have any control over, other than we do abate some of that levy with alternative revenue or the 1 cent sales tax, is about 3.84%. With the increase or with the balloon, it will look a little bit higher at 4.85. So speaking again, balloon versus actual, this is based on last year's. Last year we requested 3.7 million, we actually got 3.5. As you can look at those numbers, just because we asked for it doesn't mean we get it. And that is it. Questions? All right. Any questions from the public? Any comments from the public?
It's a lot of money.
All right, hearing none, and no board members comment, I would take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Oh, no, we need a roll call because it's money. Roll call vote.
Helms. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
All right, approval of the agenda. The motion is that the Board of Education approves the agenda as presented.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay.
All right, approval of previous minutes. The motion is the Board of Education approves the minutes of the regular Board of Education meeting from November 15th, 2021.
All right, do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Discussion? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, then we have the consent agenda. Didn't look like a whole lot this time.
All right, the motion is that the Board of Education approves the consent agenda as presented.
Yeah, there's just the bills and the activity reports. Okay, do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved. Second.
All in favor? Oh, no. Roll call.
Yes. Yes. Helms. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Communications, public comments.
All right, we are open to public comment section. Katie?
That's me.
Well, there's two, there's.
Oh.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Oops, hold on, sorry. You said that. Are you ready?
I shouldn't take 3 minutes.
Okay.
Okay. I just wanted to do a little update. I emailed Mr. Vance before, but I wanted to invite the board and educators and the community to attend a presentation tentatively on January 11th with Clock Incorporated Executive Director Chase Morris. Clock is an LGBTQ resource out of the Quad Cities that in addition to supporting youth, gives trainings and workshops to area educators and community organizations. And after I've attended quite a few of the Morrison School Board meetings this year, I thought these sessions might be just a good fit for our community and a good opportunity to learn more about the issues affecting our students. The sessions will focus on respectful terminology, offer reliable resources on how to become better informed, and there will be a Q&A at the end to ask any questions you might have. Because this information benefits more than just educators, we will be hosting 2 sessions, the first for educators and any area professionals, and the second just for the community at large. Thanks to a successful GoFundMe, the sessions will be free of charge, and First Presbyterian down the hill has graciously offered to host. So I'm meeting with Chase tomorrow to firm up times, and we'll post information in the usual spots around Morrison, so Facebook and the City One. And I'll get that information to Mr. Vance as well. P-Flag from Sterling is another LGBTQ support group, and they would also like to attend. So it should be some good resources and educational opportunities for the community.
I missed this. Would it be here in Morrison then?
It would be here in Morrison,
Okay.
just down the hill.
Down the hall, okay. I thought that's
What
what
is
you
the
said.
date, did you say?
January
11th?
11th. That's what we're looking at, but I'll make sure that's correct. Coming that up tomorrow, it's a Tuesday. And then, I have a minute left. Okay, I just wanted to say thank you for the COVID testing at the high school. That is so amazing because my kids have had to be COVID tested so many times, and it is so much easier than trying to find somewhere around town, and it's really fast and easy, and the nurses are phenomenal, and they hustle, and it's really awesome. So thank you for getting that all lined up. And then I just had a question, and it doesn't need to be answered now, but with vaccinations opening up to the younger groups, could you refresh if my kiddos are vaccinated, do I need to inform the school? Does that affect their quarantine status at all? And just kind of a general refresher, reminder on how that works.
That's a
I'll
good
get something
idea.
out to the public, and that's good.
That's a good idea, actually.
Mrs. Melton?
I was really fast. I just wanted to thank the board for their publishing the LGBTQ policy and for giving the opportunity to comment on it. I just wanted to say I feel like it's a good policy in my opinion. It seems to be inclusive and progressive for our community and for our school. It's encouraging, and as we continue to educate ourselves on this issue, I think is an important piece, and see how that it might not just affect your child, but it affects the whole community in its entirety. So thank you for that time and bringing attention to this issue that I feel like is one of the reasons I've been coming to the board meetings and wanted to be an advocate for all of our students, but in particularly the vulnerable population. So thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, thanks.
Good news from around the district. Mr. Harrod is at a concert, so he's unavailable. Mr. Cassie, is there anything you wanted to add to your report?
No, I just wanted to bring, mention again, we raised, Southside raised $505 for the United Way food drive.
Yeah.
So, and over 4 classes had great work. So that was nice to see. Very, very nice to see, and I know that when they came to collect the money and pass out awards, it was well received.
Mr. Robbins?
Just wanted to, we are doing a canned food drive, not only canned food, but any types of non-perishable items for families in need. Mrs. Holland, our counselor, is using it as part of, she's doing monthly lessons. She goes into our study halls and works on different things. November obviously was, being thankful, and a current one is that we're working on this month is empathy. So just doing what we can to help families out in need. Kind of turn it into a contest. The homeroom that brings in the most will get some type of reward, for having the most. But one thing we're doing, and like I said, mixing it, we're using it as part of our monthly lesson of empathy with the students. So thank you, Mrs. Holland, for taking care of that.
When is the last day of the drive?
Friday.
Friday.
Yeah, Friday, yep. Mr. Bill?
I've got nothing additional for the report.
Thank you. Enrollment report is on the screen behind me. We are static, or we have no change from last month, but we are still 21 students ahead of where we were at last year at this time. Questions? Mr. Schaefer, did you want to talk about technology?
No, everything's running and we're not going to change it after I'm done. Everything's running pretty well. So,
Thank you. Old business. First item in old business is a non-resident tuition waiver. This is an action item. The motion is the Board of Education approves the non-resident tuition waiver as presented.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All right, roll call.
Wilkins,
Yes.
Helms,
Yes.
Stevenson,
Yes.
Lucky. Yes. Ridley.
Yes.
Second motion, or second item under old business is the 2021 district tax levy. This is also an action item. The motion is that the Board of Education approves the 2021 district tax levy as presented.
Do I have a motion for this?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Roll call again.
Helms,
Yes.
Stevenson,
Yes.
Lucky.
Yes.
Wilkins,
Yes.
Ridley.
Yes.
Item C on our agenda under old business is the LGBTQ policy. This is also an action item. The motion is that the Board of Education approves the LGBTQ policy as presented.
Do I have a motion in this?
So moved.
Second.
Is this on the website yet or on the?
Yes, it's been on the
is it?
website
Okay.
for several weeks. There is a
Well, I just
comment.
wanted to make
Yep,
sure.
there's also a comment page. I don't believe anyone, okay. Do we want to share those with the board before we take a vote, or?
That's up to your discretion to look at.
Would you rather look at these comments and then bring it back?
No.
No.
I think you should probably look at them. Just
You mean look at them before we
the
vote?
comments, yes, whatever, because people were allowed to comment on we put a comment sheet. Dwayne, can you share that with me?
It should be shared. If you go to the website, it's on the website.
Oh, I can just read it from the website.
Yeah.
Are they anonymous codes?
One of them is not, but she also happens to be sitting next to me.
Now we got to talk, that's all.
The other two are anonymous. I thought I could share that since she was saying that.
I will go ahead and, so the first comment is, this is an excellent document covering the foundations that need to be covered. Obviously, with Mrs. Melton here in attendance and speaking publicly, she shared her feelings with it. Third comment in there is some concern, or how is this policy affording any privacy to the kids who still do not want to and are too afraid to speak up and ask for privacy? It does not. Basically, nothing has changed for the other natural-born girls in the locker rooms. I agree policy was needed for the LGBTQ kids. What about the other kids forced to be in these situations they don't want to be in? Nothing has changed for them. Install curtains or partitions so no one has to go out of their way to ask for accommodations. I will also share that I did get an email from a concerned parent, not necessarily echoing these comments, but very similar to that as well. I would just also like to comment that just by approving this policy that does not take anything like partitions, curtains, those types of things off the table. It just doesn't provide for them in this policy. As with any other board policy, this can be amended in the future if we need to. If you would like to see something that in this policy, we can obviously not take a vote and take it back for redraft.
I don't have a problem with this policy and how it's written.
We can amend it. I think all we want to do is protect all students.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
So however we can do that and everybody feels safe, and then let's do that.
So you do want to take a vote? Anyone that doesn't want to vote? Okay. Luann, do you want to go ahead and take a roll call, please?
Helms,
Yes.
Stevenson,
Yes.
Lucky. Yes. Wilkins,
Yes.
Ridley.
Yes.
Okay, we are moving on to new business. First item is baseball uniform purchase. This is an action. Education approves the purchase of baseball uniforms for Morrison High School for the cost of $7,856.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
I know uniforms are so expensive, but I just gotta say, how long do uniforms, how often are we buying uniforms?
Our current policy is they can apply for depending on how much they cost, the original, they can, and how much the individual team is willing to pay. The minimum amount of time between one uniform purchase and the next should be 5 years.
I thought so, but I
There's a
wasn't sure.
rotation.
I thought there was, but I just, when I see that much money, it's like, oh.
You also have some sports like football and baseball where it's, and softball, where it's tougher on uniforms because
Right.
of the contact,
Right.
sliding, things like that. So I don't believe we've purchased baseball uniforms in the last 4 or 5 years. So, and again, this is, we are not paying all of this. This is the total cost for the uniforms. We are paying roughly 80% of it.
Yes.
Yes, we do. Okay, roll call.
Yes.
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 Item B, class-wise purchase. This is also an action item. The motion is that the Board of Education approves the purchase of the class-wise management system for the cost of $1,518.
Good.
Yeah, do I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
All right,
What this, it's a management system for the Chromebooks. It allows teachers to monitor what the kids are looking at, lock them out and shut them out of certain items that they shouldn't be. We currently use Land School. This will replace Land School. We've piloted it for quite a while, actually.
yeah,
And teachers really seem to like it. So it's a subscription for 1 year for the amount quoted. Yeah, questions?
roll call.
Yes.
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 Yes. Staffing concerns.
The next item is a discussion item, and it involves what a lot of districts around the state of Illinois are dealing with, and not just school districts, but a lot of employers around the state are dealing with, and that is a staffing shortage. I have shared information with you. You've received information from staff members about what's going on, and so come up with a tentative, very, very rough draft of a potential plan. This was shared with the administration earlier today, so you are seeing this about in real time with the administration as well. I haven't yet had a chance to look this over with other staff members, but this is what a potential plan could look like. It's a two-part plan. The first part would deal with the recruitment of new employees, specifically classroom and one-to-one aides. The focal point of part one would be the creation of a new salary schedule with increased starting wages. If you remember, by 2025, minimum wage in the state of Illinois will be $15. 18 months ago, we developed a new salary schedule that got us there progressively. With COVID and dwindling pool of applicants, the discussion now has focused on potentially revamping that schedule with a higher starting wage. Second part of this would be reimburse new hires for costs incurred in obtaining proper certification necessary to work for the district. If it's a sub, if it's a aide, they have to go through the ROE and pay some registration costs, things like that. We would reimburse those upon completion of the school year, provided that the employee, one, submitted the receipts for the costs they incurred, they finished the school year in good standing with the district, and three, they completed the year with an attendance record of 90% or above. Second or third part of that would be a one-time signing bonus to be paid at the conclusion of the year if the criteria from above is met. $500 for classroom aides, $750 for one-to-one aides, $250 for all other non-certified personnel. An attendance incentive of $1,000 for all non-certified personnel who finish their contractual year with an attendance rate of 97% or above. To put that into context, we have 175 school days. To reach that goal, they'd have to be here 170 days. Possible tuition reimbursement, similar to the reimbursement schedule for certified staff members. And then actively post job openings in various outlets, including social media and print media. The big part of that is we don't always post positions in the newspaper because we don't feel it's as effective, but that might be an avenue that we want to explore more in terms of those people who maybe not follow our Twitter or our Facebook pages or the ROE openings of those types of things. So that's another possibility. Second part of this would be retainment of current employees, service credit for years in the district on the newly created salary schedule, attendance incentive of $1,000 for all non-certified personnel who finish their year at 97% or above attendance rate, possibly a longevity bonus for reaching employment milestones of 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, 25 years, increasing incrementally every 5 years, and then again, tuition reimbursement similar to the schedule for certified staff members. That's the easy part. You ready for the not easy part? All right, here's what a potential new salary schedule would look like. Classroom aides starting January 1, 2022 are scheduled to make $12 an hour. We would increase that to $15 an hour to start the year. And then increase their pay by about 25 cents an hour every year for the next 4 years. Staff members who are currently employed would get service credit in the range of 5 cents to 10 cents per year, just to make sure that they are over what our base pay would be. Here's the costs. So next year it would add $73,000 to our budget. In year 2, it would be $126,000. And then in years 3 and 4, it would be roughly $23,000 for a total of $270,000 over 4 years of increased cost, not including any new hires and not including any of the bonuses discussed on the first page. And there's no guarantee that that will actually attract new employees.
And since we had this discussion 2 years ago, and we thought $12 was reasonable, and situations have changed so much, there's no saying that after 2 more years,
Right.
we might not have to deconstruct this and do it again based on whatever the situation is at the time. So,
Now, do a lot of these positions, I see the hourly employees, do they have benefits, the hourly employees too?
If they're working 30, if they're 6.5 hours a day or more, they qualify for individual insurance.
Okay,
Same policy or same coverage that certified staff get.
okay.
Since we had this discussion earlier, has anybody been hired since? Have we attracted anybody new since the last time this was addressed?
In terms of last month or since the new salary schedule?
Well, wasn't that 2 months ago we discussed that the first time? Or was that just last month?
That was last
Okay,
month.
yeah, has anybody new even
No.
applied? Yeah, then
I don't believe so.
then something has to change.
And it's not just us, it's statewide.
Yes.
It's everywhere. It's not.
it was probably the single largest, wasn't it? Breakout session. We went to the state school board convention 2 weeks ago. Yeah.
3 weeks ago.
And Lori went to that session, and it was in a double room, and it was standing room only, wasn't it?
Yep.
This isn't a local issue. It's not really even a state issue. And so this is what we can do, but there's societal things that have to change that we don't really have the control to do much with. So,
I mean, one thing that you said earlier, which I really want to kind of talk about growing your own, I mean, have some, when I think of schools, like I know I've worked with some kids that do, they're teacher assistants in their senior high school, or if they have an interest in
Right.
education or counseling, they shadow, or, there's things that we can do in the school system to try to create that kind of atmosphere, but.
yeah,
Our district, or actually the high school rather, has been at the kind of the forefront of an educational pathway program in the Sauk Valley area. And
Okay. Good.
we've had a number of kids enrolled. We had one student graduate last year with the accreditation that comes with that. So we are trying.
Okay.
And I agree, grow your own is probably going to be, I don't say the wave of the future, but it's going to be a necessity. It's just finding that pool
Okay.
of candidates that want to do it. So
And hasn't the state looked at alternative licensing?
the state has been somewhat proactive for the state of Illinois in terms of loosening some of the regulations that it takes
Streamlining.
to be
some of the-
certified.
That's good, yeah.
They are aware of it. They understand it. And it's not just a non-certified issue. It's not even a certified issue. I saw a study the other day that enrollment in principal prep programs is down 85% in the last 5 years. So
Right.
it is as
Yeah,
Mr. Ridley said, it is not a Morrison issue and it's not a Whiteside County issue. It is a statewide issue. It is a nationwide issue in terms of people going into education.
The shortfall numbers that they gave that day, Lori, weren't they? They were
Oh, I couldn't
staggering.
even.
I mean, it was
believe
tens
the
of
numbers.
thousands that, the number of kids that were in education in college right now was just so drastically lower than 5 years ago that it was just astonishing. So,
Any questions or comments or anything you absolutely hate on this tentative plan?
no,
No, I mean, I think it's important to take care of our current staff, as we
Yes.
talked about.
very,
that
yeah,
We want to make sure
Great
we're not
point.
just providing incentive bonuses and then not providing that for our current,
right.
current staff we have. So I think that's what I
Yeah.
really wanted to see.
And didn't we talk about student loan forgiveness too, or something toward helping them with their student loans for our staff? Did we talk about that?
Yeah, that,
Or we just kind of just talked about it, right?
we did, yeah, that,
That's a tough one.
The tuition reimbursement is something that we've never offered for non-certified staff before. And it doesn't necessarily have to be tuition. It could be professional development stipend or
Right.
something along those lines.
Okay.
Honestly, I think anything is on the table when it comes to this.
just has a cost.
It does cost.
And that's where,
We also want to make sure that we're discussing this with our other stakeholders, our certified staff, get their input as well. So if there's no concerns, I will meet with those groups and we will continue to try and streamline this and hopefully bring something actionable in the next month or so.
Okay, great.
Next item is Sauk Valley Community College Impact Program. That's a discussion item. I'm going to let Mr. Bielma kind of introduce this a little bit for you to get an idea of what that is and how it could influence our district.
All right. The quick version is Sauk Valley is beginning a program, this impact program, where the Morrison students, as well as other students in schools around the area, could earn tuition and fees completely paid for during their high school years by completing community service hours during their high school time. They have to opt into this program at the beginning of the school year. It's a program that they're planning to begin with other area schools as well as Morrison, beginning with next year's freshman class. There are a couple schools that have piloted. I believe Prophetstown and Fulton have done that. You may have heard that through the last couple of years. It's worked well there. But basically, they opt into the program, 25 hours per year of community service, 100 hours total. A couple of them graduating on time, applying for FAFSA, and at least one scholarship opportunity, kind of what they're looking for as far as requirements. And like I said, the student can earn all their tuition and fees paid for, like as a freshman. If a sophomore, say, wanted to jump into the program, didn't enroll their freshman year, and then continued through the 3 years through high school, they would earn 75%, junior 50, senior 25 and such. kind of what SALC is asking from us is, once we get the enrollment in those students, and then kind of allowing the impact program to contact parents and the students, and as well as also members of the community to kind of set up these community or community service type of opportunities and such there. One other thing, the student would be allowed, it would be through a calendar year rather than a school year, so the student could earn some their community service hours over summer hours as well up until the next school year.
Who manages this program?
Sauk Valley is going to take care of all the accounting. I suppose that was kind of the number one question, as far as these hours coming in and being improved. And basically what we'd have is getting those hours then sent to a Sauk Valley representative, and they would accumulate it and tabulate all that information there.
Okay, so so for them to do, say, 100 hours over 4 years, what would the student get in return?
That student would get free tuition and fees paid for at Sauk Valley Community College for their career technical program
So for a 2-year program or 1 year?
for up to 3 years until graduation from
Okay, no,
Sauk
that's
Valley
good to
Community
know.
College. Yep.
No, okay. I think it's wonderful.
Yeah, it sounds like what they need from us is the opportunity to kind of come into the district and kind of reach out
Could
and
they meet with, because I assume you do an orientation with the freshmen
Mhm.
every year. Would it be great if they got to talk to the freshmen?
that's the idea. Then,
Orientation
yep.
and they could sign
They'd like to come into our open house, our career and fair. Like I said, we wanted to come in during, as we talk to the 8th graders and such about class selection, introduce it at that time. Like I said, right now they have the enrollment deadline is September 1st. I think the idea is, maybe those 8th graders in February don't know what they want to do and such, but when they get in August and then kind of they're in the building, our counselor can talk to them as well and get them signed up, and away we go. It is brand new.
I see them all signed up.
Yeah, I don't see.
Do community service, that's great.
Yeah, I don't see anything where, if they decide not to go to Sauk Valley, that there's any harm in it in any form at all. So.
I think that's wonderful.
This passes.
There's an MOU that we will need to sign, is that
Yes,
correct?
and that's kind of what presenting there. Like I said, it's being able to, or having the Sauk Valley to reach out to the parents and the students. So if there's community service opportunities, say in Sterling, Morrison students could go to Sterling and participate in those and come back. So I think that's kind of the form that I had sent earlier about signing off on, and then yes, an MOU would be down the pike at some point.
Any other questions for Mr. Bielma?
No, it does.
Thank you, Corey. Item E under new business, prearranged absence request. This is an action item.
Put them all together.
I'll do them all together. The motion is the Board of Education approves the prearranged absence request of student number 34000033 and student 30000006 and student 28000042 as presented.
Do I have a motion?
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. All right.
Item F, certified staffing action. We should take these one at a time.
Yep.
First motion is that the Board of Education approves the resignation of Amber Blumhoff as a certified teacher effective December 18th, 2021.
Okay, do I have a motion?
Second.
Roll call.
Wilson,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Stevenson,
Yes.
Lucky,
Yes.
Gridley.
Yes.
Second motion is that the Board of Education approves the resignation of Tom Drosopoulos as head volleyball coach at Morrison High School effective December 18th, 2021.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call again.
Jones,
Yes.
Stevenson,
Yes.
Lucky.
Yes.
Wilson.
Yes.
Gridley.
Yes.
Last motion is that the Board of Education approves the resignation of Jordan Johnston as a certified teacher at Morrison High School effective December 18th, 2021.
Right, do I have a motion?
Second.
Roll call.
Jones? Yes.
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 Yes. All right, anything else? I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.